Alrighty, folks, just a quick additional stream for today. Just let me write things down. Okay, sending this here and copy this, post this, post this. Okay, well, we are here. Hi, Skylar, glad to have you here. How are you? Hope how's it going? How have you been? How have you been? So the shtick is that I guess I'm just going to try to draw some characters from anime, just some quick sketches, things that characters that I really want to draw. Um, I I'm just going to pick characters from the top of my head because I feel like that's quite good for me. Um, good. Good. And yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good. Just being a little bit sick recently, so I didn't really go to work today. So that's why I'm also making a fast-paced stream today. That's why a faster stream today and an additional one on top of that. And yeah, so the first character that I'm thinking about is Urza from Scarlet from Fairy Tail. I don't know why. I really liked Urza as a character from anime. She was very specific because she was like very she was soft when she had to, and she was rough-edged when she had to. So like she was getting she had those like she had this balance, you know. Urza actually for me always had that balance, which a lot of anime characters are lacking. Because like for her friends and comrades, she was like very soft, right? Like she was really caring actually, and she knew how to make some jokes, but she was kind of awkward because also I guess she wasn't really as used to that because she was like, you know. But also when she saw that someone from the guild was getting hurt, she was capable to just go into battle with whoever that was, for whoever from the guild that was, right? So it never really mattered for her. She always treated everyone in the guild like one huge family, so yeah. And yeah. Let me check a couple things because I see I'm getting okay. And yeah. So let's just draw Urza. Just some quick sketches, you know, like more or less in the style of. Again, like I'm really trying to aim for this, for what Rinotuna is doing, right? So, for example, let me show you the sketches that Rinotuna has. This is going to be my reference for the style. I'm still kind of going for it. I still want to make sketches like this because I feel like I know that those sketches are going to be really fast to do, and I just want to go around those because I know that it's also going to help me a little bit with my coloring, right? If I'm going to learn how to color, how to sketch out people like this, I guess I'm going to then also try to figure out how to draw furnitures in the same way, right? Another thing that I've noticed is, for example, that Rinotuna is kind of restricting his canvas, and then he expands it to certain like max size, which is actually 1920 for 2417. That's like his usual sizing that he ends up for per character. And actually for his sketches he keeps things reversed like this, right? Because he's doing like several characters in the same thing, so he just fills out this space. But I want to have everything, you know, vertical. I'm used to vertical sizes of the paper, so I don't know, it's just weird. And yeah, another thing that I've noticed, another thing that I've noticed that I'm trading away from what Reno does for his artworks is that he actually don't really. He's doing a lot of things like he's not rounding out edges. Everything is quite rigid. I guess I'm going to use like 7. Yeah, I guess 7 is going to be okay. Nah, let's go back to 5. Yeah. So like kind of I want to have like as if her head is tilted like this, right? So we see her from we are going to see Erza from like the side, right? Like this. And her head is going to be like tilted that way, so we are going to see some of her, you know, some of her chin underneath. Another very difficult view, but I'm doing this because it's actually really good training. I really need to figure out more difficult poses, you know, like more dynamic poses. That's what I really want to go for. Also, if you can hear, I'm doing way better now with my sickness. That's the thing, like, I know how to deal with sicknesses really quickly, but if I'm not going to like stay at home and do all the steps that I need to do, it's just I'm just going to fall into like at least 2 weeks out from life mode, because sicknesses for me are developing really quickly, but I can also get rid of them really quickly. I have no idea how that works. So basically, like, okay, I can be sick enough to like barely talk, have like 39 degrees Celsius fever and cough, and if throughout the entire day I'm like taking care of myself in a certain way, on the very next day I'm like almost good to go. And like, you know, yesterday I actually had to go to work because of my boss, but now but I've got back home earlier than 16. G. And actually I need this neck to be like, yeah, like that. Right, so we're going to also see some of the nose here. I don't think that this is right. Yeah, no. Hell no. This is it, right? Isn't it like one of those like recent meme things about the specific view? like, okay, we are doing the bent neck. And we see some of the neck, but I guess the neck is, like, everything's going to go like that. Wait, let me draw the cranium real quick. Okay. That's the thing about drawing. For some reason, there are moments where you can really quickly do really nice things, and there are things that are literally annihilating it. But I know that one of the elements for that is actually to draw it a bit differently. So here's the jaw, right? That's the piece of neck that we are going for, and that's the bottom line of the jaw. I think that's that look 3/4 yeah, 3/4 looking at 3/4 up looking situation, which was recently said to be one of the most difficult placements of the head. That's weird. Like, a lot of people are doing you know, tutorials regarding that so much such a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that works. Yeah. Sometimes without the lines it's much better. But sometimes you kind of have to, you know? Like, for example, I can draw already characters without the... Like, despite my aphantasia, I can still draw characters without the construction line at this point, but there are still views where I actually have to. Like, for example, the view that Davis is on sketched out right now on our new banner. That's one of the views where I still need to use a supporting lines, you know, the construction thingy. I think that can go like this, yeah, and that looks really darn good. Okay. Is it looking darn good? I don't think so, though. Maybe like... Yeah. I don't know, it just felt like like everything was way too big for her face. And I guess it is. It's just around the neck area. It's good. We can just adjust very quickly. And yeah. And yeah. Okay. And I guess, yeah, Erza has that sharp kind of eyes. That's also a thing I kind of need to do. So... the thing is, like, the magic trick is that you for Rino style, is that you want to make everything more or less in like one line. You don't want to do much like changes and stuff. Yeah. And I guess the ear would be higher. Mm. I'm going to give her like a lollipop kind of thing. The thing about hers is that she likes sweets, especially strawberry cake. That's another aspect of really well-made character, like giving it like its favorite thing, you know? Hmm. I'm still kind of looking into the view of it, but like, there's something that seems off. At the same time, it looks okay, and that's bothering me. Like, what is my brain trying to tell me? Okay, wait. Here's the jaw, so it should go like that, right? That's the jawline. And you... oh yeah, okay. Now that was the issue, I guess. I just do lines here. Okay. Bueno. It works. It works, it works. Okay. Well, that's the thing. Like, I really want to figure out couple things, right? Like, how do I want to, you know, make the outlines and stuff. Because if I figure that out, then I guess I'll be good to go with many things, especially backgrounds, you know. I guess I could go with it, because like, again, like Reno Tuna, for example, is using this slightly thicker outline, right? To separate things, and then very thin lines inside of the drawing. I guess there we go. And Mian, I don't know. Yeah. Works really well. Works really well. Okay. Oh, to her hairstyle. Again. So Urza has like one of her eyes like covered. But I guess the other one can also be slightly covered in some. In some instances. Okay. And I don't think I want that line. And I don't think I want that line, but I want her eyebrow to be like this. And I want her eye to be like this. Okay. And same here. You know, kind of showing that it's just underneath, right? But showing that it's still there. To be fair, when for the first time they started doing it, it was like really cool. Because like, I mean, when they started doing this in the anime, it seemed really cool idea. But the problem is that they've really quickly started painting eyes over the hair. So like for most of the times, the eyes under the hair were just under the hair. They weren't there. But sooner or later, they started giving this some kind of translucency to the hair. And some of the hairs had elements like this, right? Like just still hair colored, but the outline of the eyes were there. It looked really nice. It looked really good for me. But they've started like then actually coloring the eyes and the eyebrows, which was pretty bad decision for me. That I started doing this, and I guess a lot of people was of the same kind of thought train because they've stopped doing that sooner or later. But like some anime, I think lost on their magic because of that. I think even Fairy Tail at some point was doing this. To be fair, is Rino Tuna using as many lines? No, he's not actually. He's actually not. There are just very few lines that are anywhere, really. Huh. That is intriguing, to say the least. That is intriguing, to say the least. Okay, so I actually don't need those lines. I just need lines that are going to like split the hairs, and that's it. And those lines are going to be like, yeah, just like that. Okay. Right. The question is, how do I want to draw Erza? Do I have to draw her in her armor? She has several armors, right? She has several designs, and that's something that is also really good for me personally, because I can actually figure stuff out considering that thing. So I can just draw her in her armor and call it a day, right? But like, in what pose? I guess I could give her sword. Give her like she's holding her waist like this, and then her sword like that. We could have something like this, then the neck would go like that. We could have her popping the booty a little bit. Yeah, and that would be like kind of yeah. I think you can call it seductively challenging. Like she's kind of passive aggressive, but also like you can think of her trying to be kind of seductive. She's got brown eyes. Yeah. I really like that sketching style. The thing is, though, I also want to introduce that into my normal coloring, because like I don't see a reason why would I do things in like grayscale too, unless I could just pick the colors and change them later on, right? Or to just start bounding the colors or something. that's another thing, you know. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. I guess in her armor, like Erza is known to have her armor, although she also has like that daily outfit that she has. That element is a bit thicker and rounded, so we need to actually show that also in the line art. I just kind of marked spaces where her neck ends, so we could have a bit better idea when we are going to pursue further. And that is going to go here, right? And since, yeah, it needs to be like that. And from what I see, it's kind of going like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. No, wait, that might actually come to be way too thick. Yeah, now that's way better. Alright, so we've got her neck, we've got her neck armor piece. I guess you could call it a collar? I'm not sure actually how what that piece of armor is called, to be fair. Alrighty. Another thing that I never really understood about her armor is that her armor was just, you know, put around her chest tightly. Instead of like actually making even like a tent kind of thing like that. Her armor is literally like that. So it's like, you know. Going back to 5. Maybe first let's make her torso. So I wanted her to like go like that and that with the torso, right? So I wanted her to like kind of puff out her chest and get her butt actually sticking out to the back a little. Mm. I'm actually going to fit rest like her breast section to that portion, right? So I'm starting to at the continuation of that line. I'm not really going to bother with much details or distensions or anything like that. I just need to be sure where her breasts are, just to make the lines properly. Mm-hmm. So now I'm making her armor, and her stomach kind of goes like here, so her armor is going to go like this. And it's going to wrap around here, and we're going to have... I guess that line also makes no sense, because it should go like this and then this. Yeah. So that, and I guess it's going to go like this to make a point here, because it's going like this. So even though I didn't really plan to stream today, I guess, you know, I've done a lot of things really quickly today, so I just thought I could, you know, I could just sit down. I don't think I'm going to continue on 7, we'll see though. But yeah. And I don't think I can like do much. It's just her head that's, because like her body is like that and her head is like that. So it's only her head that's like bent a little, and the rest of her body is still standing straight. So that's actually like the correct thinking. So yeah. Ooh. The patterns can actually come to be a bit more difficult. Yeah, I guess I'm going to make it a bit differently. Okay. Like that, so we can know now how the arrows are going to go. Actually, this arrow should go like this. Yeah. And now that and that. To be fair, I've started playing Minecraft a little bit again. I've been playing what was it? Minecraft that mod pack, Architect 2? Project Architect, there you go. I really like the idea of this mod pack because I like mix-ups. It gives you a lot of, you know, possibility to make farms and shit. And at the same time it allows you to make magic. I was trying to have an attempt on that, but it was like, you know. It's difficult. Hell yeah. I really like hers design. I really like it. I don't know why. I don't really like knight characters in any media. I always prefer mages, but I feel like Urza's design was way more compelling than much other ones that you could see in many other anime. Actually, I think like her armor is one of the more useful. Of course, it still has some skin opened, but actually her like chest area and neck and shoulders with her arms are like, which are kind of, if you look at her fighting style, those are kind of like the main portions that are going forward because she leans to her attacks. So she actually protects her front, which is still like very important in that matter when it comes to the armor itself. That's why I really like it, because it makes sense. And it's not just chainmail bikini that's somehow supposed to give you plus 100 defense for some reason, you know. Gets slapped. What about magic defense? God damn it. I guess I'm going to have a bit better idea how to do those sketches when I'll, you know, when I figure stuff out. Because I see that I'm still drawing slightly faster. Like, we have to take to the account, for example, struggling with other elements, right? So in total, if I wouldn't struggle, I would, for example, finish my sketches way faster than 1 hour, for example. Also, my sketches are actually my line art too, so it's just genuinely, you know. Also, I'm totally forgetting about, you know, making like recording the time lapse by Clip Studio on my drawings. I need to like burn that into my memory to always turn on the time lapse for the thing. Like I still got the time lapse for Marine to edit too. Like, I still need to edit this thing. I hope that I didn't lose it though. Like, I need in my folder with drawings also, you know, like an info, a folder for the time lapses and just for everything I'm doing. I guess besides like the sketching sessions, for every like illustration that I'm going to do, I guess making a time lapse is going to be good. I've seen someone also raging at the fact why so many artists are leaving their artworks with signatures. After deeper investigation, it turned out that the guy was some kind of dude that was trying to scrape internet with for AI, right? So he was trying to just steal some artworks, and he was just ranting about how idiotic it is that artists are leaving signatures at the bottom of all of the artworks, because it's so infuriating, because like you can't see the full artwork because of that and stuff. And he was just coming up with some foolish talk, I suppose. But it was still, you know, it kind of drives me mad that some people have even audacity to like say things like this, you know. how to buy this? Because it goes like that, goes here, and then rotates like that. There you go. Got it. I guess also like making something like that is going to be yeah, let's just cut this out because it's like armor, right? So we don't want to actually make that breast over there. It was only for this element, so. Hi Karen, got over here, how are you? Hope everything has going. The only watermark I hate is the stock photo, like watermark. It covers the whole image. They might have been onto something though. Yeah. I mean... True, watermarks are kinda irritating, but... Actually... there are tools to get rid of the watermarks. You can even get rid of watermarks via quick digital edit. But if there's a signature with the same like opacity and thickness as your line art, like this, right? Then what? No watermark removal tool is going to get rid of that. No, nothing, because it's going to take it as a part of the artwork. So, like, people that are scraping for the AI are, and even though it's non-invasive little, like, signature at the bottom, it's not ruining the piece, because you can still see the entire piece, but you're actually making a stample just so the AI scraper, the artwork scrapers for AI are not going to be capable to actually pick things up from the internet, because they don't want the signatures, because it's going to make the AI to make those like weird symbols in the corners. So if you ever see those like weird like jumbled things, that means someone used an AI model with a signature in it. I think it needs just one signature or something to already ruin their entire model. So I like the cursive signatures. Yeah, because they look aesthetically. You can still make the signature very aesthetic and fitting to the artwork. So it's not going to be invasive, but still you are going to make some AI scraper irritated because of that, because there's a signature in there. Also, the amount of artists like that are actually making freaking that started making AI things, despite already having like a huge amount of viewership. That's kind of bad. Like, dude, you know how to draw, why? You know what I'm saying? Who was there? Sam does art. No, not Sam. Ross draws. I'm mixing them for some reason. Ross was the guy. Apparently he was making some artworks with the usage of AI, and there was a huge drama and he lost a lot of following because of that. And it was just because he started using freaking AI. And the guy, it's not like the guy has no idea how to draw. He knows how to draw. He actually had couple covers at Vogue. Like he was actually making artworks for the Vogue magazine to be on the cover. And like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm sure that after this entire drama, they're still in lazy. I don't think it would be that hard to scan for text at the bottom or top of an image and just crop it out, or even lazier, just crop every image. Yeah, but like, for example, if I'm going to make the thing like here, they would have to crop the image here and look like how much of the artwork is getting cut out, you know? So it's not really that easy for them to do that. Because that means they have to sacrifice a certain amount of artwork. And quite often, like none of their artworks generated by AI would, for example, have feet, you know? So it's just, yeah. But oh well. But yeah, like, for example, Ross drama. The signature I love the most is the one that is hidden inside the artwork. Yeah, I guess that works too. Like, for example, I like how Minia is doing the her schedule, not her schedule, the her signature, because she writes like mean, yeah, and then it's like the mask. There's like a, you know, it's very simple and doesn't take that much space. Also, I think there was an artist who was hiding a broccoli in every artwork, and people are like trying to figure stuff out. You know, where's the broccoli? I was trying to hide the plushie in my artworks actually too in the past, but it's very difficult to get people to play it, you know? I was going to do that with my sack doll OC, but I forgot and got lazy. True. Laziness is like your worst enemy, to be fair. If you're procrastinating, it's like hitting you hard. Anyway, I finished my coffee. Let me pour some tea. I'm still getting better over time, you know, getting out of the sickness. I've already got out of the shower. Now I'm just streaming. I want to do some sketches. I just feel like it, you know? I just feel like I need to do some of those. Okay, so we know where her hand is going to go, so we know that we need to kinda, you know, how we need to merge her hand. Almost done with my painting, however I am not sure if I want to paint the eyes. You know what, if it's because you're lazy, try. If it's because that you are not sure if you'll manage to make them fitting to the artwork, make a copy of the artwork without the eyes, and then try to add the eyes on the copy. Unironically, I feel like those arms are different sizes, but they are actually the same size. I'm measuring it, like I'm double checking, and they are actually of the same size, but they look different. They look like different size. Wait, I need to do it. I need to measure it differently. Something is wrong. I swear to God, if... Okay, so that's the line, and I'm measuring from here to here. Okay, and now if I'm taking that line, copy and paste, and I go from... Yeah... I mean, it kinda fits. I feel like I might need to just expand this area a little, just so the arm would wrap a bit better. But other than that, it's actually good. And now look. See? Those two arms are the same size, and the forearm is also the same size. Like, what? I guess it's just my brain making, or my eyes just making fun out of me, but that's something I've never really understood. Like, the properly looking things were always looking weird to me. I can't really think of why. But yeah, that's fitting here. You know, sometimes you need also, if you've noticed the red line, that I'm doing that usually with my stylus and my thumb. So I'm placing the tip of my stylus and I'm measuring out things with my thumb, the sizes, and then I'm just checking it, comparing it to the other parts, you know, because it's like a ruler at this point. I've learned that from traditional art. That's actually like, you know, traditional method to keep things in check. So if you ever have like, if you ever would have issues with measuring things out, you can use either that method, or if you're doing digital, you just do the red line method. Just use a different layer and then just copy and paste the line. So I'm looking at it, and Urza has like a, I want to say pencil skirt, but I might be wrong. I think pencil skirts are like, you know, without any folds. But her skirt is hanging around this area, so that's how big her skirt is going to be. But also it's very specific, because like a lot of skirts are going like this. Her skirt is going like that. So it's like the same like direction, right? So that's also something to keep in mind, because otherwise it's going to be different skirt than what she actually uses, right? And it's not going to be fitting for the character's design. So another thing, that leg is slightly up, so that's, I think that should, is this Fairy Tail? Yep, it is. It's Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail that we are sketching right now. Have you seen Fairy Tail? Unironically, that's one of my favorite anime. Even though it had some fillers that kind of, you know, kind of made a fuss, it's been getting better and better over time. Actually, I had even an idea to make Fairy Tail RPG game in RPG Maker, but it was very difficult back in the days when I was younger to come up with the ideas, because like I had no idea how to operate on that. I was like, you know, oh, the basic thing. So yeah. It was decent, but did not finish it. If I remember correctly, I got to the part where they are in the elite competition. Oh, so like halfway through the first season. There's much more things going on in there later on, much more interesting things going on. Like the time skip, for example. Fairy Tail actually, I guess I'm not going to really say. I don't want to spoil you things, but like things are going wild. My favorite character was Happy. Yeah, that's I guess that's the only character to pick for the favorite. He was so good they got ported to the mangaka's next work. Yeah. Actually, that's something that makes me kind of... That makes me kind of wonder, you know what I mean? Because actually, I don't understand that decision about porting Happy to the next thing. Like, I don't know what is it, because here's how it seems. The first manga that the author done, it was like kind of similar idea, but it was like, oh, everyone is using magic items, right? And I guess the main hero had the possibility to be an actual, you know, an actual like mage or something. And then we have Fairy Tail. And then the next work is like Fairy Tail got rewritten. Like the mangaka took the entire Fairy Tail and just changed the entire world. It feels like the first world was turned into Fairy Tail, and now Fairy Tail was turned into the newer work. So like we are looking at iterations of kind of the same story. Even like main heroes are looking the same over the different anime. And like we also have like the like cheery cat companion. Well, it wasn't in the first work, it wasn't necessarily like the cheery cat, but it was actually the same kind of creature that Lucy had. The one with that looked like a snowman, like a little snowman with the thing, with the carrot as a nose. And it also was ported to Fairy Tail. So it's kind of confusing because I feel like they've got bound to the same story, or they have no idea what to do with their story. It kind of feels like they're exploring genres. But I really like their works. I really like their works. It's one of my favorites, if I'd have to pick. I haven't watched the new one, but that's funny. Yeah. Because like you literally, like main hero is literally looking like Natsu. And then you have a girl that looks like Lucy. And Lucy actually is the one who finds Happy. And Happy is an android. So it's like you still have the same trio of main heroes. And then you have character that looks like Erza and another character that looks like Grey. And like just, you know, all the characters got kind of like refurbished to the needs of the story. And just got their names changed. I've even seen people like talking about that artist. It, you know, quote unquote, right? Oh, it feels like the artist is just lazy or something, right? But for me, it's like, for me, it's cool because we can kind of see as if, oh well, maybe it's like Fairy Tail, but in the future. Who knows? Like we're at the brink of it in Fairy Tail, right? The same kind of like freaking magic cannons or whatever that was, bombs, etc. that are still appearing in the new work. And just like the main characters that we see are like descendants of like the main heroes from Fairy Tail. And who knows, maybe like we see Fairy Tail after what's going on in the first manga, right? Or those might be parallel worlds. Actually, it is there is a theory that those two were parallel worlds. Like one where you know, where like two different islands, right? Like one island is filled with wizards, mages, where actually they can use magic and stuff. And on the other hand, you have an island where people can't use magic, so they have support themselves with magic items. And magic items are also, same magic items as a matter of fact, are still present in Fairy Tail. So it's, and we know that those magic items are actually being ported from different islands. And that's why it makes so much sense for that theory, that though we just look at those two as if those are two different islands. Makes so much sense. And that's why I also feel like it makes so much sense that we see similarly looking characters in the new work, because those might actually be the descendants. Because it is actually proven that every now and then we have people popping up looking literally the same as someone from the past. Like we've seen those doppelgangers of like people from the old Renaissance paintings, right? Like sure, those could be thousands of years, but like let's see like how far into the future that world may be from what we see in Fairy Tail, right? Literally thousands of years, so I feel like actually it's not lazy writing or lazy designing, but actually the author is like 300 IQ mastermind who made like the timeline, and like we just see at different teams from different islands in the same world, and same like later on just like how the world evolved, right? The future of it and stuff. Makes so much sense. I really need to get into that new thing. I want to also rewatch entire entire Fairy Tail from the beginning, because I really want to get around, you know, I really want to get around watching the how is it called? I really want to get around watching other things from that artist. I want to see if actually that theorem might make sense, because I haven't seen anyone saying that all of those worlds are connected. To be fair, I didn't really hang out around the anime related communities around media like Twitter or Reddit, because, you know, I guess we've talked about it. A lot of communities are being toxic, or sooner or later become toxic. So I just kind of unplugged myself from that toxicity of those things. I guess one of the things that I kind of feel like I have to achieve is for sure more line confidence. I need to be sure where I have to put lines, and I can't like allow myself to do those like scratching motions. Like, for example, I've seen how Rinotuna draws. He's just making one line like this, and that's actually speeding up the process. Of course, sometimes he's making a line, he doesn't like it, he just Ctrl Z's it, or he likes half of it, so he erases the half and continues it in different way. So it's like, you know, in a way you can kind of see how it goes with it. And I have noticed that when I'm doing this, I actually make much better lines too. I really want to also like straight away a little bit from typical Rinotuna style, but there's so many elements that I like about this style that I just find it difficult to really find something. The only thing I could say no to might be the hairs, but then like what other hairs, like hair painting method can work for that, you know? It's just difficult to point that thing out. Okay. I like that one. Okay. Hmm. Okay. That makes sense. Maybe we could make the feet bigger a little bit. And that? Hmm. I don't really feel like, yeah, that one needs to be like this. And we need to make a bit better lines here. That has to be like that. Okay. Alrighty. I'm still wondering about that foot. I guess on the other side we could also give her like the other one too. It's the same kind of idea. Okay. We've got that right. Finally. Okay, so I guess now we can try to take care of the rest of her armor? Because she's going to wear like dark piece of clothing here and here. Yep. And okay, so something like this. To be fair, some portions of her of Urza's armor are actually more difficult to portray. Okay. Alright, that makes sense, okay. And I guess another shoulder pad. Something like this, something like that. Wait. Yeah, her shoulder pad would actually cover a piece of her armor. Like that. I guess like this? No, it doesn't look good. That's my problem. I can't really figure that one out. Because it's not like very bulbous. I guess something like that. Yeah. And now like this. Noise. Okay. And I guess we actually want to make a line like that. You know, kind of show that this thing is wrapping around her shoulder right now, like here. You know what I'm saying? Like actually showing the piece of her armor like this. Alright, and I guess we want to do like something like this. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, now it looks better? Question mark? Hmm. Hmm. I don't know about this. Hmm. Maybe trying to make it bigger like that? Yeah, okay, let's leave it at this. Let's leave it at this. Hmm. That's interesting. This section seems to be slightly thicker than everything else. And it seems to have like a band around here. But it's like just slightly thicker. It's not like thick. It's just slightly thicker. And to be fair, that's one of the very few occasions where I'm drawing her as the last. Because I'm not even done with the hair yet. Okay, let's add a line here. And what? And this. Should have a line like that, and it should be going like this and wrapping around here. Okay. That's why I've picked Urza too, because she's got so many little details on her character design. So many just small details. To use. That one seems to be too small. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. And, yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Actually, maybe instead of starting with the thumb, let's make... Let's start with the fingers. To be fair, hand armors are usually very difficult to make. And they are quite specific to draw. No, the hand seems to be too big. Of course it seems to be too big. I don't know why, but I can't make properly sized hand. Okay. That's another element that's making her design a bit more difficult. But she's so, like, I literally see pixels. I guess it's like I'm zooming too much. I need to be zoomed out for most of the time. That's another thing that I'm testing out while sketching right now, to be fair. Okay, and we want the handle to go like this. And actually there's like a thing here. I guess, yeah, we are going to make everything kind of hang on it. Okay, and her sword is... it's not like rounded out, but it kind of gets thicker. And around here it gets this like kind of square rectangle thingy-majig. Mm. Oh my. Hmm. Okay. And now the blood groove, which is, by the way, to lead the blood from the sword so it wouldn't stack up on water. Right, on fluids, so it's not only for blood, but it's called blood groove. But basically was to gather the blood and allow it to escape easily, instead of like actually letting the blood to be on the sword for a longer period of time. It's really cool that they've thought about it, actually. It's really cool. Too bad it's not going through most of the sword, actually, because it should like stop somewhere here in theory on an actual sword. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. The sword still seems to be a little bit wonky. There we go, I guess. And the other part of her arm, right? Okay. And folks, if you have any projects you want to talk about that you have, like, you know, any art projects and stuff, feel free to say anything, like how far you are in the progress on them. I'd love to hear. Okay. I guess that works. And there it is. Wait, half and half, yeah. And then here. So like this, half and a half, half and a half, half and a half. Alright. Yeah. And now this hand seems to be too small. God damn it. Thumb is okay, rest of the hand seems to be too small. Either hand is too small or too big. I don't understand how my hands are working. It's so weird. I guess the curse of hands for me it's looking like that. To be fair, I've noticed that sometimes Urza is portrayed with one side of her hairs, you know, of those like hanging down strands here. Actually, as if one side, like I think left side, where most of her hairs are like portrayed to be longer than the other side. And sometimes they are the same size. I guess it's just, you know, how it would appear in anime. And by the way, of the anime, I utterly despise the fact that literally the first good-looking episode of One Punch Man is literally has been detected to have AI in it. Like literally they couldn't gather their stuff up and make a good animation for it, so they started using AI. Because it was literally capable to make better animation than them. I think people, like someone who was doing it, took people saying that AI can do better way too seriously and literally went for it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Damn, is that true? Yeah, 7th episode. It was 7th episode of One Punch Man. Because people literally watched it and like, hey, that episode is good. And then someone like looked into inconsistencies and, for example, a character is swinging something, I think like some kind of a stick. And as the character had the bandage on her cheek, after the swing she didn't have the bandage on it. Another like weird you know, other glyphs that AI tends to do. Like, you literally prepared an entire document about this. And it's really darn sad, you know? Because, like, come on, they've made several good episodes. Is it really that difficult for them to keep up with rest of it? But like, yeah, someone literally took the, you know, for example, the Goro sliding down, and like, you know, lol, AI done better job than the actual anime studio. And like they shown and you know, dispute by AI animation as Goro is literally sliding, and there are like some micro movements and grass is like splitting as he slides down. So like literally like in any other anime that is out there. And I don't understand. It's like you've got so many different anime that are getting released, and literally you don't get as many anime with the same like issues. Like, I understand it's difficult to animate, because it is, right? Like, respect to people that are getting into animation. But they literally have teams with people responsible for other elements. And the thing is that, like, you have key frame animators, and usually that's like 2 to 3 people. And then for each of those 2 to 3, and then you have like, let's say 3, like, you know, 3 to 5 in between artists. So they like literally you have some, I guess it's looking like that, you know, like a pyramid, right? So like you have the manager who's like making the like lead sketches and stuff, and like making like lead tips for people. Then you have keyframers, which are making key frames of the animation. And then as you have the keyframe animations, they need in-betweens. And usually the team has like 3 to 5 people for the in-betweens. And that's why you can quickly, in animation studios, you can really quickly go through the entire thing. And like, I've done the calculations, right? Because like, you know, if we look at it, you literally have, so you've got 24 minutes of anime. So that we are counting in seconds, like, so it's 24 frames a second in the standard of the anime. So we've got 24 minutes divided by 60, so it's 1440 seconds. That times 24, because frames per second, and that gives you 34,560 frames in the entire anime, right? The thing is, well, of course, there's also intro for that, right? So 2 minutes intro, 2 minutes outro, so it's actually 20 minutes for everything, but let's count everything. So you've got 34,560. And let's say you have a team of 10 people, right? So that divided by 10. And that gives 3,456. Considering that some, you know, tricks, right? So a lot of frames, for example, are just mouth moving or hairs moving or like just some simple action. And you have more dynamic elements which are just like moving, and those are fast paced, so the in-betweens are going way faster, right? And the thing is that you don't really get as much work even though you've got 3,456, right? Because for example in 24, let's say, let's check this. How many keyframes are in one episode of anime? Let's check this. Oh yeah, also, yeah, that's something. So there is no exact number of keyframes in an anime episode, as it depends on the animation style, frame rate, and the amount of action. Yeah, so yeah. However, a typical 22-minute episode animated in twos, one drawing per 2 frames. So actually what I've calculated is even way more than it should be. So however, a typical 22-minute episode, so also a bit more. One at a standard 24 frames per second, because that's industry standard. That has approximately 14,400 to 16,000 drawings, right? So that's way less than I thought. So let's say even max 16 grand, that divided by team of 10, that's 1,600 frames for one person, right? But anime often uses techniques to reduce the number of drawings, such as reusing frames or using fewer frames per second. Yeah, that's exactly that, because like in action scenes where something's fast-paced, they're making the thing lower. Like they're changing how many frames in between are between the keyframes and stuff, depending on how fast the action is. So like literally they might have even less. So we are speaking almost 1,000 frames per person, for example. Without taking to the account reusing the frames, right? So as a matter of fact, it's not really that useful. Really, because if, for example, I'm going to make a couple shots where character is talking in the specific view, and I can reuse that character talking, just changing its background, and maybe the shading. So if I make just flat colored character talking, and then just change the shading on it and the background, I can reuse that whole thing throughout the entirety of the anime. So, to be fair, by the end of the anime episode, you actually see probably a lot of reused frames, a lot of reused sections, probably, which sucks. But to be fair, like I don't understand why One Punch Man animation studio has so much troubles around getting with everything. Why literally people are capable to point out that AI would be able to do better animation, and why the first episode from the season of One Punch Man literally has been deduced to have AI generated animation in it. That sucks. That literally sucks. I don't understand what is wrong with them. Like they are literally doing bad for themselves, because people, if they don't want to look at it, they are just not going to watch it. They are not going to finish it. Like I'm watching one, I've seen how new animations are looking, and I literally watching One Piece from 1997. It has way better animation than what that One Punch Man has. And I would be ashamed of putting something like that out. Like I understand, for example, well, I guess it started with Dragon Ball 2, Dragon Ball Super, but like Dragon Ball Super later on had things changed. Like Toei Animation sat down and like, you know, that sucks, bring the pros. And they've like brought in pros, sat down pros who already worked on Dragon Ball previously, took the newbies and like, pros, I need you to teach those newbies how you do your thing. And like they literally taught them, and for quite a part actually, they've been they've been actually boosting up the quality of Dragon Ball Super anime. And then the they've made the entire Blu-ray edit, right? So they've took all the episodes and just refresh everything to actually make it appear looking good with the pros, right? And output the Blu-ray and I guess the TV series, refresh the TV series with episodes that looked better. But it's a shame that first time you see some things looking that bad. Like some of those animations I can say that I could do better. Which I don't say such things for most of the stuff that I see. Because I know that some things are harder. But literally what One Punch Man does, I could literally do way better, way easier. Imagine like 5 or group of 3 people from the internet gathering up and redoing the entirety of One Punch Man anime. And doing way better job than freaking professional anime studio. And you know what's even the worst? Those people quite often don't end up not having the jobs in the industry. Literally, people who are doing way better than people from the industry are actually not landing jobs in that industry. Like I've seen many animators, and when someone asked them that, many animators on the internet, and when someone asked them for which studio they are working, they said that they just have some boring office job that is not even related to art. So like, what's the deal? Am I right? That's sad because literally people out there could be boosting things up. But I guess also it depends on people way of thinking. Like me personally, I would love to have a art related job. It's literally my life. I want to have an art related job. If it's art related content creation, or just, working as a character artist or any other kind of artist. But I know that there are artists who are saying that they would never want to work as a professional. It's like, kind of like mental thing. Like some people just don't want to because they know that it might break the fun that they have. I just have too much fun right now. It's sad when you think about it. If I had a traditional 9 to 5 art job, I would end up hating it. Oh my. You know, maybe true. Maybe true. I just the kind of mentality that I would love it, but I know that when you have a boss that is like lashing you for anything, you're ending up hating that thing. But it depends on the boss. It really depends on the boss, because your boss is the person who would be capable to actually make you love your job. Like, I've had a boss for which I could literally... I've had in the past a boss that for which I could literally go for the Kloppen shift or the, you know, overtime or anything like this. The problem that I'm facing is that you don't have that many bosses like this. A lot of them don't look at you as someone who actually have their own personal time, passions, you know, they don't see you as a compound being. Most bosses just care about the fact if the job is done, and, you know, and they don't care that the overtime is going to literally strain your mental health, because, you know, that's the thing. Or a boss that makes you to come to the job when you have literally over 38 degrees Celsius fever, and then act all shocked when you actually come up barely alive to the office, and just making you waste 4 hours of your goddamn time because it just so happened that you've got a freaking meeting planned with the client, and he asks you to stay until the meeting, and then someone from the company would give you a ride. And like literally every other coworker is asking you why the heck am I even why the heck you are even at the work. Like, goddamn. Like, that's the thing. And the boss doesn't care that you've literally wasted 4 hours and risked of having it worse. No. The boss just, you know, going to act all shocked and send you back home, even when, and, you know, ask you on the next day, and ask you in the evening if you can come tomorrow. And then it comes through their thick skull that you are actually goddamn sick, and you don't want to go to the doctor to get a sick leave, which usually would end up being like 2-week absence, around a week to 2. So yeah. Like, there are so many things in the new, like, in the current age jobs that just makes no sense. Like, for example, someone is working an office job. First of all, office jobs like that can be done from home. Just like that. Like, it doesn't matter what office job you are doing, you can do it from home as long as you're only working on PC, because everyone, if you have a PC, of course. If not, like, company can just buy like cheap laptop and call it a day. So it's like, you know, it's just kind of bothering me, because it's a fast decision that can save a lot of money for companies. There are already systems for home office jobs, and they can see if someone is doing their job or not on the home office. Wow, that reminded me of that guy that had a bunch of tech jobs, but he outsourced all the work. Yeah. I mean, if he had enough money for that, I guess, I guess he could outsource them. But that only also means that his company could outsource his job, so they could just do the same thing and get rid of him. By the way, I need to make my portfolio. So we'll see. We'll see, maybe portfolio making streams will come back for a while. But yeah. I just need to do some sketching practice. I'm getting rusty from just painting. Yeah, sketching practices are really good for you. It's, yeah. Especially when you're getting rusty. Because, true, painting works differently, so you're going to kind of get rusty around the edges with the normal drawing, because it's, because of how specific it can get. Hmm. And in theory, her hairs should be also like this. And what do you think of sketching? Maybe I'm avoiding it because it's hard for me. Sketching? Sketching is not that hard. You just sit down and draw whatever you want. You can even draw. You can even draw a bunch of fan arts for the characters, like what I'm doing right now. It's actually one of the easiest ones that you can do. Painting is more difficult, to be fair. But I guess, you know, everyone have like their own favorites and not favorites. I suppose you might just not like the sketching. I have an old injury on my wrist that acts up when I sketch. Really? Hmm. But shouldn't it like act up every single time? What's the difference that you have? Sketching shouldn't be like that hard on your wrist because you usually want to spend most of your like you don't want to really go as hard on your pencil either. Requires more precise movement? I wouldn't say so. Hmm. I wouldn't say so. I think line art takes much more precise movements. When you are sketching, you don't really want to go as hard on your wrist. Like you can see that sometimes I actually have to make my lines several times because they're coming out too light. Like that, for example. See? Sometimes I have to actually get myself to actually make darker lines, so I have to press harder. Also, don't use your wrist. So I have small screenless drawing tablet. You can still change your sensitivity. But I guess sensitivity is not going to really affect anything as much. To be fair, have you ever tried like switching your hand? And trying to learn how to draw with your other hand? It might be a long process, but actually, if the wrist in your currently dominating hand is busted, I guess you can kind of learn how to use your other hand. You know, kind of like using mouses. You can train drawing with left hand. Thought about it. Yeah. Shouldn't be really that difficult on your wrist, and I guess it's just going to give you as much of a hard time as drawing with your busted wrist. But actually, after some time, it's going to give you much more, you know, much more fruits of your labor. To be fair, I've been also kind of trying to get ambidextrous. Like, you never know what's going to happen. I guess that's one of the things to learn. Couple languages. Being ambidextrous. Because to be fair, as far as I've heard, because a lot of people, oh no way, you were born ambidextrous. And as far as I've heard, like no one is getting born with being ambidextrous. it was always the same kind of story. Oh yeah, my grandparent or my parent forced me to use the other hand because they were dominatingly lefty. But back in the days it was like, oh no, left-handed is bad. No, you need to use right hand because that's the proper way. Like, I'm not going to hide, my grandma was actually doing that. Like, when I was trying to take a spoon with my left hand, she was like ripping the spoon out of my hand and forcing me to use my right hand. So yeah, that wasn't fun. That wasn't cool. But I kind of got that ambidextrous thing, you know? It's not perfect, but I kind of got the gist of it. I just prefer left hand because it's my dominating arm. Okay, I guess it looks cool. Doing with my foot? To be fair, you never know. You never know, like, it could just so happen that it could just so happen that, you know, there would be someone, well, it might just so happen that someone might get into some freak car accident and need a bit more, you know. That's my worst nightmare, losing my autonomy. True. Like, I can't imagine. God damn it. And come to the thing to think that people are actually going through something like that. But we are getting better and better prosthetics, you know what I mean? I wonder if the Neuralink would work for us since we can't use our imagination. That's the thing, right? Like, I was also wondering about it because, like, what would it out of nowhere start producing images in our heads? I doubt it. I think it's going to be like one of those things that some people are going to be capable to and some not. Unless, you know, they actually managed to make Neuralink with a freaking that would actually be able to activate that dormant portion of the brain responsible for creating images within head. Man, I'm just... yeah. So tomorrow I'll be going to my work. Again, coming back. You know, I didn't want to take sick leave, and I also don't want to, like, anger my boss. I wonder if tomorrow I'm going to come back to the office and he's going to give me a... you know... he's going to give me a resignation to sign. That's so him. Wouldn't be shocked. Yeah. Okay, I like it. I like it. It looks cool. I see that some of the Reno Tuna's sketches are kind of fully colored and some are not. I mean, not fully colored, like actually have patterns and stuff. Looks good. Yeah, I really like it. I really like it. Hmm. Yeah. Now it also this also adds some charm, I guess. But like, ain't from the place. Yeah, okay. I guess? No? What's wrong with me today? I don't know. Like this. Now that looks weird. I don't know. I feel like I need to add something, but I at the same time, no matter what I'm adding, it feels off. Maybe like... Hi TW, glad to be here. How are your plans going? I can only see your streams when I'm staying late and I don't think that I'm ignoring you or anything. It's okay TW, I understand. Time zones are really bad. I'm thinking of doing earlier streams, you know, for people who are you know, in different time zones. We come live after 12 p.m. here. Damn. Is it 12 p.m. right now? Oh shit, it's 7 p.m. right now for me. Yeah, it might be actually. Are those lines looking good? I guess. Maybe, maybe let's make it like... yeah, like this. Okay, nah, let's leave it, because I don't know, it feels like her face is a bit too empty, but yeah, I guess we can leave it like that. We can leave it at it. I need to crack my back. I've been streaming for like, what, 3 hours now? Wait, am I actually streaming for 3 hours right now? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And guess what? This boy made only one goddamn sketch. Oh no. No. But I guess it's one of those days where I'm just drawing slowly. Just having fun, you know? And I guess it's also because I've been trying new things, you know? It's not my usual method of drawing, so it slows you down because you're thinking too much about stuff. And we've also talked about the animation, right? You had some break in between, I guess, for a couple minutes. But yeah, yeah. I was wondering what can be my signature, to be fair. I was thinking about like something like this. You know? Small aesthetic. Because I've been usually signing myself like this. It looks nice, cursive, and it's aesthetic, but it's actually taking much more space on it, you know? So I guess just leaving it at, you know, like the dot or even differently, the like this. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe like that. Yeah, just signed, you know, somewhere nearby the character. In just enough so it would be visible, but not as much to, you know, screw it over. Okay. So, this was actually the first sketch in the drop. I'm going to think of doing 5 sketches in a drop. I'm thinking of doing it per week. We will see. Actually, that was my plan to do during the break. Like, I wanted to sit down and like today I actually supposed to have a break instead of streaming. You know, so I was kind of fighting with myself, but I was like, why not making a, you know, a bonus stream? Yesterday it kind of sucked because I was sick, so I've streamed for only 1 hour. You know. There's yeah. Drop number 1. Sketches. Yeah. I guess we'll see. I want to make 5 sketches and 1 colored piece. Because I'm preparing to start posting things on DeviantArt and Pixiv. I want to make some, you know, I want to stack up on some pieces and do a slight kickstart from the get-go, you know what I mean? So I would just, I guess, just sit down and make some sketches, draw a little, you know, do a little bit here, a little bit there. Just generally do things. And yeah, I just genuinely don't know. We have the gaming channel, by the way. So yeah, tomorrow we are going to actually make writing streams. So I'm also doing this to catch up with drawings because I want you all know that like I want you all have some still art, like drawing content before I'll make the writing stream for my manga, right? Because we are not done with writing the manga. On the last stream we've done like what, 1 hour of writing. We're I guess halfway there. I have to like, I think I have to like separate my I think now I have to separate my story into arcs and arcs into sagas. So that'll be interesting because that's also like a room to add something, delete something from the story, because I know more or less how I want the story to go, but I guess I could try to like, you know, make it longer a little bit. So yeah. Yeah, that's like one of the things. So I'm just, yeah, I'm just kind of, you can kind of say that I'm just sitting through a couple, you know, couple elements, trying to figure things out to output a little bit more, because I feel like I've been not really doing much for the channel. Even I thought to come back to making the to making of Davis's Art Academy came back. But we'll see. We'll see. Are you going to do a Christmas themed stream? I want to. Yeah. We'll see though, because usually I have my, you know, I guess I might not do the stream exactly on Christmas, but like before Christmas, like on Monday or something. or Thursday, because Christmas this year is on Wednesday, I think. So yeah. I'm just slowly, I'm just slowly throwing things around. And on Saturday, we are going to continue playing Yakuza on the gaming channel. And then on 7 p.m., of course, we are going to continue drawing properly drawing the banner. And, and I guess on Sunday, we are going to make a marathon. I will be trying to stream for longer time. We'll see how long I'll manage to stream for, because like, the thing is that usually I was cutting the streams even when I wanted to make marathon, because I had to make room in my day for walking out my dog. Since last week, now was it last week? Yeah, it was. So since last week, it's actually difficult to like reprogram my brain to think differently. So whenever I'm looking at the time and it's around 1 p.m, I have to like drop whatever I'm doing. So like, that sucks, but yeah. So yeah, just kind of I want to test out string. That's why on Sunday I want to kind of test out string for longer. But also it's like very specific time for me, because on weekend I have much more time throughout the day, and I can just do. I've also throw a lot of things for the weekend, and throughout the weekday, well, throughout the week I can just do much more. I guess I could also just come back from work, eat real quick, and get to streaming, and I guess it would be like 5 p.m. streams, and those could go for a bit longer too. But I just, I just don't know. We will see what future will bring. It's difficult now to really talk, because I don't have like, I can't really think of much. I can't really think of much things. But yeah, I really like Urza. I really like Urza. I really like the way how the sketch turned out. We are streaming already for 3 hours, and I'm supposed to have a break today. I've expected to make more sketches today, and then just one, but I guess we've had fun. Right, folks? Considering everything, I really want to thank you all for coming around, even just lurking. just additional, just additional stream for people from for people from different time zones, right? An earlier stream so others could also catch up. Tomorrow writing stream, we are going to be on a different screen because you won't see what I'm because you won't be able to see what I'm doing because, like, of course I'm just writing, right? So I'll a Word document and that's that. But yeah, and we'll see. On the other hand, I think I still have somewhere the entire like documentation for rewriting of High School DxD. We will see. If I'll manage to finish my manga quickly after making all that writing, which I think we should be, but considering that all of that took me 3 hours, like all of this, which is like more or less how I want my manga to look like, right? Like what you see here is actually how more or less my manga is going to look like, and I'm calling this a sketch. So like, yeah, that's going to be the style my manga is going to be in. And I'm calling it a sketch because it's actually like Rino Tuna's sketch thing, but I really like it. It's, black and white. But yeah, folks, thanks Karen for being active chat on Twitch, thanks Skylar and TW for being active chat on YouTube. As always, stay creative and I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care and